MLB benches clear in rainy Cleveland as grounds crew rushes to unfurl tarp amid chaos. It's a first for me. A benches clearing brawl was averted on Sunday in Cleveland as the grounds crew rushed to unfurl the tarp ahead of a 30-minute rain delay. Guardians players nearly squared off with the visiting Arizona Diamondbacks in the sixth inning when left fielder Tim Tawa tried to break up Cleveland pitcher Gavin Williams' perfect game with a bunt. Tawa couldn't get the bunt down, instead fouling it backwards, but Cleveland players were seen fuming afterwards as the second-year Diamondback broke up the perfect game with a single to right. Attempting to bunt when a pitcher has a chance at a perfect game is generally frowned upon in baseball, particularly when the other team is trailing by 5, as Arizona was on Sunday.
Love watermelon but hate the sticky cutting mess? This compact 2-in-1 tool slices neat cubes and flips into a retractable fork for easy serving at parties, picnics, or home. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/3 right now.
When the tarp came out with 2 outs in the 6th inning, Guardians manager Stephen Vogt and third base coach Rouglas Oder charged from the dugout and began exchanging words with Diamondbacks players and coaches. The benches emptied for both teams, but calm was restored a couple minutes later as grounds crew dragged the tarp across the infield. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo defended Tawa after his team's defeat. Umpire Jonathan Para, 30, holds back Cleveland Guardians manager Stephen Vogt. Guardians backstop Patrick Bailey blasts the Diamondbacks' Tim Tawa after a failed bunt. The Arizona Diamondbacks' Ildemaro Vargas reacts to Guardians manager Stephen Vogt. "Not even close for me," Lovullo said after Cleveland's 5-0 win over Arizona. "I've had this discussion with Stephen Vogt before when he was in our dugout as a player. I play it clean, and you can do basically anything in between the white lines for 6 innings. And then after that, you got to be careful. We all checked off on it, said absolutely." And they clearly took exception to that. Williams had retired the first 15 Arizona batters he faced, including 9 via strikeout. Tawa took a called strike on the first pitch before fouling back a bunt attempt on the next pitch. After Tawa's bunt hit the screen behind home plate, Cleveland catcher Patrick Bailey and shortstop Brayan Rocchio voiced their displeasure over Tawa's decision. Tawa then lined the next pitch into right field to give the Diamondbacks' first baserunner. Rocchio and Tawa exchanged words after Tawa was forced out at second base on a grounder by Ildemaro Vargas. However, Tawa's hard slide caused Rocchio's throw to first base for a potential double play go wide. The teams didn't come to blows, in part, because they were cleared out by the grounds crew. Brayan Rocchio did not hesitate to show his displeasure with Tim Tawa over the bunt attempt. The chirping between both teams continued, though, and reached a breaking point with 2 outs in the 6th, when both benches emptied after crew chief Lance Barksdale called for the grounds crew to put the tarp on due to heavy rain. Vogt and Oder charged from the dugout and began exchanging words with Diamondbacks players and coaches. The benches emptied for both teams, but calm was restored a couple minutes later as Vogt and Lovullo talked at home plate. "I mean, when things happen on the baseball field, tempers can flare sometimes. I was upset just because there were people talking to our players that shouldn't be," Vogt said. "When there's a perfect game going, some people are going to be very upset at that. But again, that wasn't the crux of my frustration." Also adding to the mayhem was the grounds crew trying to get the infield covered. "I've never had a tarp involved in a scrum with another team. Through some hard lessons and suspensions and fines, I've learned the hard way to de-escalate instead of amplify it. And in that case, I felt like that was my job. And I think Vogter and I got together and talked about it. And he saw it the same way I did." Williams allowed 1 hit in 5-2-3 innings with 10 strikeouts and 1 walk. The right-hander joined Chris Sale and Clayton Kershaw as the only pitchers in MLB history with double-digit strikeouts and 1 walk or fewer in at least 5 straight games. As for Tawa's bunt attempt, it was the least of his worries. "My job is to get outs, and that's what I'm trying to do," Williams said. Tawa was in 0 for 21 skid before getting the hit and said he was trying to do anything he could to snap out of it. I understand the unwritten rules of baseball, and that's a thing. And at the same time, I'm just trying to get on base and help the team and gain some momentum, he said. Both teams were issued warnings about any retaliation after the hour, 34-minute rain delay. Tawa struck out in the 7th and reached on a fielder's choice in the 9th.